I just wanted to do the quick drawing for my giveaway, for my 1,000 subscriber giveaway contest. So thank you guys again. I will be sending this out. What I did, I took everybody's name that commented, subscribed by last night, and I put them into a little bowl. Took me a while, so next time I'm probably going to use Glean for you guys to enter, but I just wanted to mix everybody up and say thank you again, and okay. There were like over 140. So, Kathy Hobbs. Let's see if you guys can see that. Kathy Hobbs. You are the lucky winner. So if you can, I'll see if I can find your comment, message you, we can connect, and I can see where you live and see about shipping. So again, thank you all so much. I really appreciate it. And congratulations to Kathy. So stay tuned, because I think behind this I'm going to have a little piece right quick on how I do my resin. I'm actually heading out to brunch, but I needed to get this done as well, so I figured I might as well do it as a video. So thank you guys. See you in a sec. Okay guys, I'm back. So I wanted to show you the resin that I used, which is Stone Coat countertop resin. They also have an art resin. I've heard that it has a little bit longer working time, but for me, I'm not doing, you know, full resin pieces all the time, so I really like this one, and I do a lot of coasters, and this one is also heat resistant. So it's relatively low VOC. I do it inside with all of my windows and doors open, just because the particles outside in my garage are so bad. Again, you have to take all the necessary precautions for resin. So please, you know, if you have any issues whatsoever breathing-wise, this may not be for you. You need to wear a respirator. You know, the dollar store mask, you know, I've been using the mask from Lowe's, but this, again, just is for particles, not for fumes. So you really need your respirator if you have any type of issues whatsoever. Please take your safety precautions. I just use, so I know for me that this does about a cup of resin and a cup of hardener, just right there, and I think these are about 3-ounce cups. That will do about 10 coasters, 4x4-inch coasters, or like 2, maybe a little bit more, or 2 or 3 of the 10x10 paintings. The other day it did 2 11x14s, and I had a little bit left over to resin 1 coaster. If you want, you can tape the back. I do not anymore, just because I remove my drips in a different way, and I can show you that part as well. You do need a torch or a heat gun. I use my torch here to pop, and it's just to pop the bubbles, and you'll have to do it multiple times. So for me, I put my resin on, and then I pop the bubbles with the torch. I move on to another piece that I'm resining, and then I go back again and re-pop the bubbles with the torch. So I do this 3 times. To prep my paintings, if they have silicone in them at all, sorry, I was screwing that on, then I use, that's just from Publix, I'm not affiliated with Publix, but I use 91% isopropyl alcohol and these Lysol wipes. So I wipe them down with the Lysol wipes. That actually gets rid of the silicone. I've done the whole washing them with soap and, you know, taking out the silicone with cornstarch. This actually works just as well, if not better. So I wipe this down 2 or 3 times. Don't be concerned. There will be a little bit of paint that comes off on the white, but it does not smear anything. And then I wipe it down with the isopropyl alcohol. And again, a little bit of it will get, the paint will get taken off. I mix my resin just in this little cup right here, and I mix it with, where's my stirring stick? Just a regular stirring stick, free from Lowe's. For this one, it recommends 2 to 4 minutes one time. You don't have to swap cups.
I like it just because it coats my artwork better and my coasters better. It's heat resistant, and it does not have as many yellowing concerns as I've read on some of the others. Now, again, I am no expert, and I have not had any pieces yellow so far that I've used from Envirotex Light or Promarine. But I just like this resin better. This is just my personal opinion. So if other people are using those, then by all means have at it. I also wanted to show you for the backs of my coasters, I use these little, I use 4x4 inch tiles, and then I use these little self-adhesive pads that I get from Amazon. So it used to be, man, it used to be such a chore. I used to cut the cork out, and I used to tape the backs and all this stuff and wash them. And I mean, it was a chore. I hated resin day. But now I love resin day because it's much easier. So I'm gonna go ahead and get my resin mixed up, and then I'll be back to show you guys how I do it. See you in a sec. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and get started. I have prepped all of these just the way I was telling you over there. So wiped them down with Lysol, wiped them down with alcohol. These did not have any silicone in them, so I'm anticipating that these will go just fine, and I am gonna resin down the sides. For these over here, you can't see them yet, but I'll pan over to those. Those do have silicone in them, and so I wanted to show how the Lysol and alcohol works for those. So I just literally pour some out, and as it stretches, I'll figure out if I need more or not. So I'm just getting it to the edges for now, and I kind of wipe my stick along the edges to help it out. And you have a pretty good amount of work time with Stone Coat countertop resin, so I need some more. Just pour it along over there. Make sure you cover your entire counter with plastic or outside, because this stuff is sticky. Don't get it on your skin, don't get it in your eyes, don't get it on your hair. This stuff is super difficult to come out. So I'm just wiping off my stick to get some more on there. And I try to be quick with it. You do not have to be perfect on this first pass, because the resin, most resins are self-leveling, so it will do its own work. And then once you heat it, it really does its own work, because it liquefies it a little bit more, and it will kind of spread out to the places that you may have missed. But you do want enough on there, maybe like 1/8 of an inch coat. So okay, that's how I'm starting. And you can kind of look down at it and see, did I get most places? Like right here, there's a big gap. So I'm just gonna put a little bit more right there. And that's it. Okay, so now I'm just going to torch. And that is just, you can't really see it because I don't have a close-up on it, but it is just releasing a bunch of air bubbles. Please wear your mask. Please be safe when you're using resin. It's not worth it. Art is not worth your health, okay? If you get any little smoke coming up, you have heated it too long. You see, I'm just going over this really fast. You do not want to keep the flame over the resin too much, because burning it, sanding it, none of that, all those fumes are not good for you. Okay, So now that it's like this, all this resin that's gone over the sides, I use that. I pick it up from the ground, I use it, and I just wipe it down the sides of the painting, and that covers it. So let me get a little bit more here. Just gonna dip my finger in and just run it down the sides. Please do this in a well-ventilated area. Even if it says low VOC, some people may have a reaction to the resin. And if you have any respiratory issues, I really don't recommend doing this. Artwork looks beautiful without resin as well. There is no reason that you have to resin your pieces. I just like resining some of my wood pieces because I like the shine that it has. See, like I just dropped some resin into the painting right there, but that will fix itself because it's self-leveling. That's what I love about it. When you're cleaning, make sure you're also cleaning your sides or else the resin won't stick. And when you're cleaning, use gloves because you have oils in your hands, and the oil that's in your hands will act like silicone almost and not allow for it to, not allow for the resin to stick. So I normally slide these under just a little bit, and then I'll show you the next part that I do. Slide that under. And you can reuse these cups a ton of times. Okay. Now the next part is I go underneath with this little lollipop stick and I just scrape, and nothing's happened under here yet because I didn't put a ton, but I just scrape these edges. And see that little bit, ooh, I don't know if you can see it or not, but there's a little bit that came off right there. And that's how I keep the bottom and my edges good to go. And so that's it. I'm gonna hit this with the torch again, and that is how I resin a piece. So I normally torch it again every like, I don't know, every 15 minutes or so after these first couple passes, because air bubbles will continue to form and come to the surface, and that's sometimes where you get those small little divots from, are those air bubbles that pop. So I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna do my other two, and then I'll come back and show you how I do my coaster. But if you guys are still watching, why don't you tell me what's some inspiration for you? What inspires you to keep painting, to keep going? That could be people, it could be music. I know when I wake up on a resin day, I put on Elton John. The first song that I normally listen to is Someone Saved My Life Tonight. And I blast it in my house and I get ready for a day of resining. So yeah, so you guys let me know what inspires you, and I'm gonna keep working, and I'll be back in just a little bit to do the coasters. Okay, and we're back. So here are these two little coasters. Again, same thing. So I have mixed up a little bit more resin. So the little shot cups that I did of resin and hardener for my other paintings did all three of those. So for my coasters, I just like to kind of use my hands and get it all the way around. Again, please wear your protective gear. Please open up your doors and windows if you're doing it inside. You really should be doing it outside in a well-ventilated area, but I understand everybody's situation is different. I just, you know, don't do what I do, please. And read your directions on your resin. You need to mix it for the appropriate amount of time for whatever resin you're using, and you need to follow the instructions on the amount of hardener and resin to actually put on there, because it either won't harden at all if you don't use the right ratio, or it'll harden in like a couple of minutes. So if that happens to you, then you didn't do the appropriate amount of mixing time, or you didn't use the appropriate amount of resin. Okay. Just making sure I've got some everywhere on all my sides. Okay. Put your hair back. Make sure everything is out of the way. Make sure you don't heat the resin too long. And if you screw up and you do get some little divots, you can always just sand with some really fine sandpaper and just go over it again. So I sand with sandpaper because it happens to everybody, guys. Resin is not perfect. So I sand with some sandpaper, fine grit, and then I wipe it down with alcohol again, and then I start over. Okay, so now I'm just gonna go along under my edges and touch that up. I just like to touch the sides. Then again, I'll come down below, and if there's any resin on the bottom, I'll scrape that off. This is kind of one of those things that you gotta babysit it. For the first, like, I would say 30 minutes to an hour, you're gonna wanna, a couple little spots right there. For the first couple hours, I would say. You're going to want to babysit it, and you're going to want to make sure that you get all the drips off. So I can just see a couple little dimple pockets in there. Just putting a little more resin on, and then the resin will come off. It will drip off onto the bottom. See, I use those little drips in my favor and just use those to coat the sides. And that is it. So no tape under the bottom, no nothing else. I just catch my drips as they happen, wipe them off, make sure my sides are coated well. And that's it. And I can see a bunch of drips happening here, so I'm just going to clean those up, and I'll continue cleaning as I go. Now, let me show you guys, take off my gloves, and I'll show you what I do if there are drips. So here's one that I did, hope that's in camera, that I did a little bit earlier. And if there is a drip, not today, last week. If there is a drip, I just hit the torch with it. And that's that smoke you don't want, guys. If you're sanding or doing this, please put on protective gear. And then what I do is I just peel that right off. I don't want to get it in my other coaster, but... And that's it. And now that drip is gone. and it's flat. You could do that with a razor blade as well. So if you set it down on the ground, heat this side, and then just take your razor blade and just make it smooth again. And that's all. That's all you gotta do. So I'm gonna keep babysitting these for a little bit until I leave. And I just wanted to show you my process. I'll take you down and show you what it looks like. Let me see if I can get it maybe with a little bit of a glare on it. Can't really get it with the glare. There you go. There, you can see it right there. See how reflective that surface is? My sides are covered. The resin is perfect. Super happy with that. This one as well, sides are covered. Just trying to get the reflective surface of it. You can kind of see it there. But anyway, so that's how I resin my stuff, guys. All right. Have a good one. Congratulations to Kathy. Bye. Hi, you guys. Back from brunch, and I just wanted to let you guys see. If you can see, it's about 3 hours later, and it's still tacky, but it's drying. And there's the coasters. So you can see these little drips down below. So let me see if I can do this without getting too much in the way. I probably should have put my gloves back on, but so see how that's still pliable? It's about 3 hours later. See underneath it? And I'm just gonna wipe those like that. And you just keep doing that, around and around and around. That's why I said it takes a little bit of babysitting, but you can see that one, and they're drying perfectly. So you can get a good view right there. See how shiny they are? The edges look perfect. Just super excited. All right, so I'm gonna try to splice all these videos together. Remember to let me know what your inspiration is. And I'm not fishing for myself, guys. I wanna know what your real inspirations are. So everybody had asked for a resin piece, so here it is. Excuse my messy kitchen and living room. Please remember to wear all of your protective gear, and thank you guys for watching. I'll talk to you soon. Happy painting. Bye.